Ram just dropped an announcement that could seriously shake things up in 2025. The auto industry has been in rough shape lately, with many automakers struggling to move inventory. Ram's situation has been especially dire, so much so that some of its own executives have started to leave the company. In a bold move to turn things around, Ram recently introduced a major price cut that's grabbing attention, especially from rivals like Ford and GM. This could be the lifeline Ram needs to regain momentum and even steal a significant slice of market share. But how deep is this discount? What does it mean for buyers and for Ram's future? It might just be the beginning of something big. Not long ago, Stellantis and its brands were dominating the roads. Chrysler's sedans exuded class, Jeeps were the symbol of off-road adventure, and Dodge muscle cars brought raw power to the streets. Fast forward to today, and the company feels like it's stuck in the mud, struggling to keep up in a fast-changing market. Jeep, once the ultimate choice for outdoor lovers, has seen its image and sales take a massive hit, down 44% since 2018. That's nearly half its audience gone. Dodge hasn't fared any better. Known for beasts like the Charger and Challenger, the brand has lost its edge, with sales plunging 67%. It's like the muscle car era suddenly ran out of gas. Chrysler's story is just as sobering. Once a symbol of American luxury and design, it now feels outdated, barely clinging on, as the industry shifts toward electric and tech-savvy vehicles. So what went wrong for Stellantis? The answer is right in front of us: pricing. For years, Stellantis has priced its vehicles at the top of the market, and now that strategy is backfiring. Take the Ram 1500 Tungsten as an example. It's marketed as a premium pickup, but when you walk into a dealership and see it priced at over $100,000, it raises eyebrows. That's a huge investment for something that's essentially still just a truck, and consumers are starting to walk away. And it's not just limited to trucks. Stellantis has a pricing issue across its entire lineup. Jeep, once known for its rugged and affordable off-road appeal, now comes with price tags that suggest luxury getaways instead of weekend trailblazing. SUVs that were once seen as practical family haulers are now inching into luxury pricing territory. Even Dodge, a brand that built its reputation on delivering muscle at an affordable cost, seems to have shifted toward premium pricing more than performance. This isn't a problem confined to a few models, it's systemic. The crossovers and compact SUVs, which are typically the most accessible vehicles in an automaker's portfolio, are being priced like they belong in a luxury showroom. Somewhere along the line, Stellantis seems to have lost touch with who their core customers really are. These aren't supposed to be high-end vehicles. They're supposed to be dependable, everyday rides for working families, young drivers, and folks just trying to get from A to B without breaking the bank. Now think about who they're pushing away. Picture a young couple looking for their first SUV, something safe, roomy, and affordable. Or a contractor searching for a reliable, no-frills pickup that can handle job sites and weekend projects. They walk into a Stellantis dealership, see the price tag, and immediately walk out, probably faster than a Hellcat off the line. Instead, they head to Ford, Chevy, or even Toyota, where prices still make sense and value is easier to spot. Stellantis, in trying to elevate its image, has ended up shutting out the everyday buyers who once fueled its success. With rivals offering equally capable options at more approachable prices, it's no surprise that Stellantis' sales have taken a serious hit. But now, the company is making a dramatic shift. In a move that sent shockwaves through the auto world, Stellantis has announced sweeping price cuts across its entire lineup. And this isn't just a marketing ploy. These are real, meaningful reductions. Up to 35% off. That's not just a minor markdown. It's slicing nearly a third off the price, and the change is coming fast. Starting in the second quarter of 2025, customers will begin to see these lower prices roll out across all Stellantis brands. Take the Ram 1500 Tungsten, once listed at a staggering $100,000. Under the new pricing strategy, it'll drop to about $65,000, a dramatic shift that puts it squarely in the same ballpark as rival trucks from Ford, Chevy, and GMC. But this is about more than just numbers. Stellantis is well aware that the truck and SUV market is one of the toughest and most competitive sectors in the industry. Ford and GM have dominated for years, and this aggressive pricing move signals that Stellantis isn't backing down. They're in it to compete and to reclaim lost ground. And for buyers, this is huge. Lower MSRPs mean lower monthly payments, better financing terms, and vehicles that finally feel attainable again. It's a win for consumers, a lifeline for the company, and potentially the spark of a major comeback. This could be the turning point Stellantis needs, and a fresh start for the everyday drivers they're hoping to bring back. Of course, not everyone is going to celebrate Stellantis's bold price cuts, especially not the customers who recently shelled out full price for a brand new Dodge or Jeep SUV. For those buyers, the sudden drop in value stings. Imagine spending $75,000 on a brand new ride, only to find out a few months later that it's now worth $25,000 less. That kind of depreciation isn't just frustrating, it's a financial gut punch. Many of these customers justified the hefty monthly payments with the belief that their vehicle would hold its value reasonably well over time. But watching the resale value plummet overnight leaves a bitter aftertaste and serious doubts about whether they made the right decision. The disappointment is real, and so is the feeling of being burned. No one wants to feel like they got the short end of the deal, especially not when it costs tens of thousands of dollars. The best way to ease that hit: hold on to the vehicle, drive it for years, use it. Let the miles add up and the value come from experience rather than resale. It's not the perfect solution for everyone, but it's a smart way to make peace with a tough financial blow. And for future buyers, this should be a lesson worth remembering. Quick depreciation can happen, and it's something worth thinking about before signing on the dotted line. If you're not planning to keep the car long term, you might want to take a step back and reconsider. That said, this isn't some scheme by Stellantis to punish loyal customers. It's survival. And if you look closely at Ram's situation, the urgency becomes crystal clear. Ram trucks have long been symbols of strength, reliability, and rugged charm. The kind of vehicle that looks at home on a construction site, but still turns heads in a valet line. For years, Ram delivered the perfect blend of toughness and style, earning a devoted following. But somewhere along the way, Ram's pricing strategy started heading in the wrong direction. The sticker shock became real. Instead of being the dependable workhorses they've always been, these trucks started feeling more like luxury items, polished, pricey, and almost too pristine to get dirty. Meanwhile, competitors like Ford and GM have been on the move, hustling to evolve and capture more market share. Ford's F-150 Lightning has made a huge splash, marrying electric innovation with classic truck sensibility. GM's been just as aggressive, launching EVs that strike a smart balance between cutting-edge design and real-world practicality. And crucially, both companies have been smart with pricing, offering incentives, financing deals, and discounts that keep them firmly in the fight. Remember 2024? It was practically a golden age for truck buyers. Ford and GM were locked in a price war, handing out deals like candy. Customers could play one off the other and walk away with massive savings. It was the kind of competitive energy that made dealerships feel like auction houses during peak season. In that climate, Stellantis couldn't afford to stay on the sidelines with bloated price tags. They had to get back in the ring. That's what this price cut represents: a statement. A clear sign that Ram, Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler are ready to fight for relevance again. They're not tapping out, they're stepping up. And for consumers, it's not just a headline. It's a chance to finally see value come back into focus, to get behind the wheel of a Stellantis vehicle without feeling like you're overpaying. This could be the comeback Stellantis desperately needs, and it starts with giving buyers a reason to believe in the brand again. Let's talk about Stellantis. Oh man, where do we even begin? While Ford and GM were throwing haymakers in a full-blown pricing war, Stellantis seemed content just watching from the sidelines. No major promos, no flashy discounts, no aggressive playbook. It was like they saw the market heating up and decided to sit back with a bucket of popcorn instead of jumping into the fight. But in the ultra-competitive world of trucks and SUVs, doing nothing is just about the worst strategy you can choose. Every buyer is a battle, and Stellantis wasn't even suiting up. So while Ford and GM kept pulling customers in with smart deals and relentless marketing, Stellantis watched its sales fall off a cliff. That old phrase, you snooze, you lose. Stellantis basically hit snooze until the alarm broke. But now, it looks like they've finally woken up. And not just groggily either. They're smashing the alarm clock and hitting the ground running with an aggressive, can't-ignore-it plan to slash prices by as much as 35%. It's bold. It's dramatic. And honestly, it might be their best shot at getting back in the game. Stellantis seems to understand that if they want to stay relevant in a market where loyalty is earned by the month, not the year, they've got to make a serious move. And fast. Just a few months ago, they dropped some eye-opening numbers. Global vehicle shipments were down 20% in the third quarter compared to the same time last year. That's rough. But zoom in on North America, and it gets even uglier. Shipments there plunged by a staggering 36%. That's not a drop. That's a freefall. And yet, the decline in actual sales during the same quarter was 15%. Still not great, but clearly not as catastrophic as the shipment numbers. So, what gives? Why the massive gap between how many vehicles Stellantis shipped and how many they sold? It all comes down to a shift in strategy. Stellantis has been tightening its focus, cutting back on underperforming models, and putting more energy into vehicles that have a better shot at connecting with buyers. It's a leaner, smarter approach. Less about flooding the market, more about making every vehicle count. At the same time, dealerships are changing how they operate, too. Gone are the days of cramming lots full of every model in the catalog and hoping for the best. Now, dealers are playing it safe, only taking on inventory they're confident will move. No one wants a row of overpriced, unpopular models gathering dust. And this isn't just a North American headache. Stellantis is feeling the heat around the globe. The shipment drop-offs hit nearly every market. Asia-Pacific, China, India, Europe, the Middle East, Africa. The problem isn't regional, it's systemic. The entire company is getting a wake-up call, and this pricing shift is one of the first signs they're actually answering it. Whether this strategy is enough to turn the tide remains to be seen. But one thing's clear. Stellantis finally realized they can't afford to sit back any longer. That's the perfect way to frame it. This isn't just about engines or price tags. It's about identity. Stellantis isn't just competing with Ford and GM in terms of tech, performance, or even value anymore. They're in a battle for hearts, minds, and loyalty. And that loyalty has deep roots, especially when we're talking about brands like Ram, Dodge, and Jeep. You take away something like the Hemi, and for a lot of longtime fans, it feels like you're not just changing the engine. You're erasing part of what made these vehicles iconic in the first place. And yeah, there are absolutely solid reasons for the change. Fuel economy, emissions, cost, all valid. But here's the thing. Car culture runs on emotion. People fall in love with how a vehicle feels, the sound, the history, the way it makes them smile when they hit the gas. Ford understood that with the EcoBoost rollout. They didn't just pull the plug on the V8. They gave customers a choice, a transition. That's the difference between evolution and alienation. And right now, Stellantis is at risk of alienating some of its most loyal buyers. Think about it. Ram used to be the go-to for someone who wanted that gritty, no-BS truck that could throw down at the job site and still turn heads at the weekend tailgate. That buyer doesn't want a truck that feels clinical or overly refined. They want something with soul, with grit, and that soul used to be spelled H-E-M-I. The Hurricane twin-turbo inline-six. Technically, it's a beast. Better torque curves, more efficient, and likely faster in real-world driving. But the marketing isn't selling emotion. It's selling specs. And that's where Stellantis is misfiring. Specs don't stir the soul. Rumbling V8s and childhood dreams of burnout smoke do. Meanwhile, Ford's F-Series is holding steady. GM's lineup is leaning hard into flexibility. Gas, diesel, EV, hybrid, you name it. And their design and tech are evolving fast. Even Toyota is starting to look spicy with the Tundra and its hybrid iForce Max system. In that context, Stellantis can't afford to feel outdated and emotionally disconnected. At the end of the day, this is bigger than just adapting to market shifts. It's about navigating the evolution without losing the essence. Stellantis still has some of the most recognizable badges in the game. Ram, Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler. But names only get you so far. You've got to back them up with products that feel true to what those names stand for, while still evolving to meet modern expectations. They've made the first bold move with the price cuts, and that's a solid step. But if Stellantis wants a true comeback, they'll need to strike a balance between efficiency and excitement, between innovation and identity. Because in today's market, buyers aren't just shopping with their wallets, they're shopping with their hearts. On paper, everything lines up. Engineers are nodding in agreement, accountants are crunching the numbers with satisfaction, and environmentalists are quietly pleased. But none of that eases the sting for die-hard Hemi fans. The reason is simple. The Hemi wasn't just an engine, it was an experience. Imagine a Ram 1500 rolling down the street, its signature growl pouring out of dual exhausts like distant thunder. People didn't just notice it, they couldn't help but turn their heads. That sound wasn't for show, it was a statement. It said, "This truck means business." For Ram owners, the Hemi wasn't just a machine. It was part of who they were. Driving one felt like being part of a gritty, powerful brotherhood, a tribe bonded by that unmistakable roar. Now, the Hurricane engine is stepping in. It's the new, twin-turbo, high-efficiency alternative. It's cleaner, it's powerful, and it's clearly the product of some seriously hard work by engineers. But here's the catch. It's quiet. Too quiet. Where the Hemi used to roar, the Hurricane whispers. And for longtime loyalists, that whisper doesn't fill the same space. Sure, it outperforms the Hemi on paper, but it doesn't hit the heart the same way. It's like comparing a flawless piano solo to a wild guitar riff that makes your chest shake. Ram's decision to retire the Hemi probably makes sense in the long run. Fuel efficiency, emission standards, regulations. They're all important, and they're not going away. The numbers check out, and the strategy is logical. But that doesn't make it any easier to swallow for fans. Because to them, the Hemi wasn't just a piece of machinery, it was a legacy. And leaving it behind isn't just a smart business move. It feels like the end of an era. The timing doesn't help either. Ram and Stellantis have already faced criticism over pricing, outdated models, and slow adaptation to market shifts. So, making a dramatic change now feels especially risky. But maybe, just maybe, the recent price cuts signal a real turning point. If Stellantis can make this plan work, it could shake up the whole industry. Ford and GM won't stand still. If Stellantis starts gaining ground with aggressively priced trucks and SUVs, a full-blown price war could be on the horizon. And while that might sound intense, it could be great news for consumers. Imagine stepping onto a dealership lot and realizing that truck you once thought was out of reach is suddenly within budget. The market becomes a fast-moving, high-stakes game where buyers have the upper hand. Still, it's not as simple as slashing prices. Automakers need to find the sweet spot between affordability and quality. If Stellantis cuts corners on reliability or craftsmanship, it could all backfire. The goal isn't to make the cheapest truck. It's to make one that feels like a smart, worthwhile purchase at a better price. And then there are the dealerships, playing a key role in whether this strategy flies or flops. Stellantis needs them fully on board, not inflating prices with hidden fees or unnecessary add-ons, and definitely not taking advantage of high-demand areas. If this new approach is going to work, it has to feel real and honest to customers. Otherwise, it's over before it begins. You know how it goes. You walk into a dealership thinking you found a great deal, and then suddenly the final price is packed with unexpected fees that were never part of the original offer. Classic bait and switch. That's exactly where Stellantis has a real shot to stand out. If they can get their dealers to fully commit to this price-cutting strategy without tacking on shady markups, they could win over a lot of customers. Their move has the potential to shake things up across the auto industry. Sure, price wars can tighten profit margins, but they also open doors for more people to actually afford the vehicles they've been eyeing. That's a win for buyers. Still, there's a fine line to walk. Cost-cutting can't mean compromising on quality. It's all about striking the right balance. The real challenge for Stellantis is going to be the dealership network. These dealers can't just go along with the plan. they need to fully buy into it. That means no surprise charges, no inflated market adjustments, and no games. Stellantis might even need to offer some extra motivation, like performance-based bonuses or recognition for dealers who stick to the rules. If they can get that kind of cooperation, they'll put themselves in a powerful position, delivering well-built, desirable vehicles at prices people can actually afford. Dealers also stand to gain from this shift. Lower margins per sale might seem like a downside, but higher sales volume and increased foot traffic can easily make up for it. Moving inventory faster and building customer trust could pay off in the long run, both in loyalty and repeat business. That's how you create lasting success. Not just with flashy deals, but with meaningful value. At its core, this isn't just about cutting prices. It's about restoring trust, revitalizing the Stellantis brand, and sending a clear message. Drivers don't have to choose between quality and affordability. Whether it's finally being able to afford that Grand Cherokee or getting behind the wheel of a Ram 1500 without breaking the bank, this could be the shift that brings hesitant buyers off the sidelines. So the question is, can Stellantis actually pull this off? Is this the bold comeback the brand needs, or just another momentary buzz in a crowded market?